And 3, 2, and 1. All right, welcome back to the Educadence podcast. I am super excited to have one of my guests here today, one of my good friends, and I'm actually is it clicking? Hold on. Diego, something clicking? I don't know. I heard something.
Nah, you're good.
I'll start over. 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back to the Educadence podcast. I am excited to have you here. Thank you for clicking on the link and listening to me today. And I have a special guest here today. Go ahead, introduce yourself, man. Who are you?
My name's Diego Rodriguez, from SAC. Go to SAC State.
There you go. Okay, so from SAC, go to SAC State. Born and raised, right, in Sacramento?
Yeah, born and raised in Sacramento.
There you go. And so let's take it back. So I mean, I know you grew up in the Thomas area. You went to high school in Thomas. Now you're at Sac State. What are you studying, man, at Sac State?
I'm trying to be a PE teacher at the moment right now.
PE teacher. So you're trying to get into the education
Yeah.
field. Okay, I feel you, man. So why PE? I mean, obviously, I know you like sports, but any other reason why?
You know, coaching really got me into wanting to be a PE teacher because, I mean, you get to be around sports all day. And just talking from my professors at school, they say it's really rewarding job. You know, it's a tough job, they say at first, but once you get the hang of it, they say it's pretty
Yeah.
fun. First couple of years, you probably have to adjust to it, but eventually it just becomes second nature. So
Do you have any like PE teachers that maybe you like? Obviously you probably had a good experience in PE because you're an athlete. You know, you played soccer, right? You did tennis, basketball, right?
yeah,
Did you have any like PE teachers back in the day that kind of like, man, that's a cool dude right there. I want to be like that, or what do you think?
I mean, you know him, Hamasaki was like one of the coolest.
Mr. Hamasaki,
You know,
Todd Hamasaki,
he was always cool.
the
So
Taz tattoo on his calf.
I think he just got it covered.
Oh dang, okay,
Yeah, yeah, but he was like he was a cool PE teacher.
yeah, he was
He was
cool.
straight to it, like you either do it or you get no points. And I think at the high school level, that's important because kids sometimes just don't want to be there.
Yeah, they had like a negative attitude, even though it's like it's PE. It's like, bro, that's the easiest class. And always like an athlete, right? That has like a C minus or an F. Oh, I ain't trying to dress out though. And I'm like, but you're on the baseball team, bro. Or, you know, you're the starting quarterback. Like you can't have a bad grade in PE when you are an athlete, right? Like this doesn't
Yeah,
work.
there's no excuse for that, man. Like,
And I know my dad would say that. I mean, like, hey, PEs, you know, that's the easy A's, right? I mean, you don't want to say that, but like if you're an athlete and you like sports, then yeah, it's an easy A. It's just like if a student who's really creative and likes drawing, you know, they're probably gonna have a really good grade in art. You know, it's like something you like. So if you like sports and you like to be active, you know, get that A. You know what I mean? So obviously, okay, you want to go into PE, which is something I wanted to do, and I mean, I have my PE credential, so I am clear to teach PE. I just don't do it right now. But you know, are you trying to like coach as well? Is that why you're trying to do PE too?
well, yeah, I'm trying to work on getting my coaching license through my club because they pay for the whole class.
Right. Yeah, the courses.
So I think the minimum you need for college, I think, is a C or B.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, and so you're trying to coach in college? Is that what you said that?
maybe at the JC.
JC level.
Yeah,
So I mean, I know you play all the other sports. Why? I mean, are you coaching soccer, right? Because I mean, the listeners don't know that. I know you coach soccer, but you love basketball, right? Like that's your thing. And
yeah.
you
Basketball is my favorite sport.
and
I
you
would say
play tennis,
basketball.
but why do you want to like continue to coach soccer? Maybe why not basketball?
Well, soccer was a game that I played since like 5 or 6 years old, and it's a game that I'm more familiar with. Um, I'm just around it more, even though I like basketball more. Like
Well,
all my friends like soccer. My dad likes soccer, so like,
right.
it's always going to be there. And I think that's something that I'll just have more knowledge to it versus basketball would just be damn near like fresh.
Right.
No,
Right. I mean,
not much.
like, I mean, because I know you're a big time a basketball fan. Like, what is it about basketball you're saying that you like more than soccer? Like, why do you think that's your favorite sport?
I don't know. I just growing up, my obviously we grew up in a soccer family, and I would just watch the Kings as a kid. It was just something new. I never knew about basketball.
Right.
We come from first generation. For me, I didn't even know what basketball was until I started watching it on
Ooh, right.
TV.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and that's all kids will play at school. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's time to pick up basketball.
Right.
But my
Yeah,
parents,
basketball is definitely like the most like I think the most played, right? Like I mean, you see a hoop and everyone's like just at least trying to shoot it into that hoop, right? Like it's
yeah,
like
like elementary school, I think that's the game that everyone always played was basketball.
mhm,
I
yeah,
don't think you ever saw kids playing soccer at recess or those fun Fridays we used to have.
right. So then you grew up in the Thomas and then you're at Sac State now, but you went to ARC before, right?
Yeah, I was 6 years at ARC.
Shout out to ARC Beavers. You already know because I'm an ARC Beaver too. And I'm a Sac State Hornet. Stingers up. Okay, so you went to ARC. You just said 6 years. Did I hear that right? Or was it glitching? The
Yeah,
internet?
6 years, man.
6 years. Okay, so break it down, man. What happened? It's a 2-year program. What's up with did you do it 3 times or what'd you do, man? Why why is it 6 years?
Well, I mean, my family never went to college. My sister was still in college when I started at ARC. So
UC Merced, right? Bobcat.
I mean, Merced. I didn't really know much about the college system. So
Okay.
they show you how to sign up at school, but that's really all they show you how to do. They didn't
Right.
show you, okay, pick classes, what major you want to do.
Right.
So I ended up picking no classes until I got called up 2 weeks before the semester started. And I was put into this like 1 year program where you would have classes with the same people for like that entire year.
Right.
So that program was really cool. I met some pretty cool people that I still
What was
talk
that?
to.
What was that? Zika? Which one was that?
I don't remember what it was called. I think it was like
Okay.
some first year program.
Okay.
Um, but it was a program that I really enjoyed because you got to be with the same people.
Like a little group every
Yeah.
class. Okay.
Yeah. So that really set me, okay, this is how I pick classes. My friends were helping me out pick classes too. So that was a cool experience. And then after that year, I didn't really know what to do, for my major. So I was just taking like 1 or 2 classes a semester, which is why I was there for so long.
So you're just trying to figure it out, right? Like, and that's we talked about that in my birthday episode when you were there. Like, we all kind of talked about it. It's like this, like everybody wants to rush into these, like making these decisions of like, okay, I want to be an architect at 18 years old. Like, you don't know what you want to do when you're 18 years old, right? So, like, I mean, I don't think you did it wrong. I think like I'm glad that you're on here so you can tell us your perspective because everybody takes a different path. Some people go straight 4 year. Some people finish a 4 year in 3 years. Like I know people that I went to high school with, graduated, Sac State, and we were like 20 years old. I'm like, what? Like I'm still trying to figure out what's going on at ARC. You know what I mean? So like, I don't think there's like a right or wrong way, but I'm glad you're here to tell us that like, you're trying to figure it out, right? It's not like you had a rush to do this. Like how old are you right now?
25.
25, dude. If I was 25, you know what I mean? Like, and I started this podcast, I already be 7 years into this. You know what I mean? I'd already be probably not talking to you anymore. But like it's cool that like, I think students can use community college as a way to figure it out. You know what I mean? Like even though your sister went to UC Merced and already kind of knew what's up, and she was doing it, like everybody's different, man. And like I was just talking to Luis today, and he's what 31, and he's barely at Sac State too, right? And so it's like I don't think there's like a rush to this. You know what I mean? Like at least he's 31 and he knows what he wants to do now. But when he was 18, he didn't even think of college. He went to Europe, started traveling, did all kinds of stuff. And you stayed here, right? You were doing your thing. You were hanging out. You were like, you got into coaching. You were working a lot, right? You got some work experience. So I think now you're probably making a decision that you probably feel like you're ready to do, right? You do want to do PE, right? Like, I don't think you're going to be regretting that later on.
No,
No.
it's just like, it just takes a while. Like, I think for kids, they're put in a position where they have to pick right away. I don't think it should be that way.
No, it's like all right, do you want to be a doctor? You got to pass all these classes when you're 14, 15, 16, 17. And then, hey, by the way, you got to pay like $300,000. Like it's very hard, like the way it's all set up. I don't know how we would change it, but I don't think that we need to put ages on stuff. I mean, we probably see memes all the time. It's like, you don't have to have a kid by this age. You don't have to get married by this age. You don't have to have a house by this age. Like, I don't think we have to do all that. Everyone could just do their own thing. You know what I mean? Like you could be at home at 30 with your parents. You know what I mean? You could be at home at 40 with your parents. Like, why does everybody want to clown people for that? Like, you know what I mean? Little things like that. Like, oh, really, bro? You still live with your mom? Like, yeah, like you should be blessed to be able to live with your mom still, right? Like I would be with my mom if I didn't have my son or my wife. You know what I mean? Like if it was just by myself, why would I, I mean, obviously I'm probably like exaggerating. I probably wouldn't be my mom anymore, but I just don't see the rush of like having to leave and do all these things at such a young age. You know what I mean? Between 20 and 25, right? You see people, your friends they're probably struggling because they made bad moves, so young, right? Like whatever it may be.
the good thing is like everyone has their own unique path,
Yeah.
and I don't think they should look at other people. Okay, he's getting a
No.
car. Maybe I should get a car. Or
Right.
he's already in the house.
Right.
I need to hurry up and try to get a house.
Hmm.
I think everyone just has their own path, and they should just follow to their own pace because there's no set plan of how to do stuff.
No, no. And I mean, we're all like examples of that. Like just our little group where we hang out, right? Like you didn't go to school with us. Like you're what, like 7 years younger than me, and you know, a couple other friends that we had that we hang out with all the time. Everybody went to different schools, different times, and we all have our different paths. You know, one of us graduated right away. A couple of us took a couple years. Some of us never graduated, right? Like some of our friends haven't. They just didn't do it. They didn't finish. You know, so it doesn't make them a different person or not. You know, they're just everybody does their own thing. You know what I mean? It's like it's okay. Like there's a path for everybody, and I'm glad I'm starting to figure that out now. But I'm glad you figured that out younger than me. You know what I mean? Because it's like I feel like at 25 I was rushing to do all these things. You know what I mean? At 25 I had a business though. Like at 25 I had a business. At 25 I was married. At 25, you know, I was already done with college. Like yeah, but that's my path. That's not yours, right? That's not anybody else's, right? Like everybody has their goals, and then you know situations just line up. You know what I mean? Like situations line up where you meet somebody, or you're in a relationship that takes you this way, or you're in a relationship that takes you that way. You know, like I know you wanted to go to LA and then you ended up staying because you got your family, you got like everything here, and like you know now you're gonna set your roots here in SAC, hopefully. So you know, going into what do you know where you want to work at, or what kind of school you're looking for, or are you trying to go back to your alma mater, or what do you think? Because that's important, man.
Well, I mean, right now I coach at my old high school, you know, and I think just going back to your old schools, it's pretty cool experience,
That's
you
fun,
know,
right?
just to see, okay, you know, I used to be that kid that's right there,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know.
you're probably better than those kids. I always think that. Like I look at those kids, like man, we were better than these guys, you know. But I don't know if it's true. But I still feel like nah. I look at these kids, I'm like, I don't know, man. I think I'm better than like 80% of y'all. You know what I mean? But I don't know how you feel when you go see your kids. But that's just
I
me.
feel the same way, but you know, they're always gonna say, "Oh, you're not better than us," you know.
Right. I mean, there's probably some kids like, okay, he's better than my friend was, but at least me is like, nah, man, I was way taller than this kid. You know what I mean? Like these guys are small. Like, what's going on with these guys, man?
Yeah, but my plan is just to try to get back into my old schools, whether if I teach at the elementary or middle school.
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, okay, take me. How did you get into coaching then? Because I mean, I know your love for sports and athletics probably took you obviously to want to be a PE teacher, which is like it makes sense, right? But how did you get into coaching? Like, you know, when did you do that?
Well, I mean, you're the one who got me my first coaching gig at
Oh, don't put me on the spot like that, man.
Anatoma's Middle. I mean, honestly, at first I did it for the money. I think
Yeah.
we used to get what $600 for this season. It was 3 weeks.
Was it that little? That
I
sounds
think
really
so.
bad. Okay, so then that was your first time. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
How
so it
old,
was,
were- how old were you then at that time?
I want to say like 20 or 21 that I
Right,
started,
right,
and I got this sixth grade boys at Anatoma's Middle,
right.
and you know that was a really fun season that I had.
Heck yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
you know, the team was pretty good. I was just trying to learn stuff on how to coach, you know, because playing and coaching is completely different,
Big time.
you know. So I just had to adjust to that, and you know, the kids wanted to be there, and that makes the job a lot easier when the kids want to be there.
Yeah. No, that was. So I didn't know that was your first experience. That was cool, man. So like, I feel like you know I hit you up, and I also call Alonzo, right? So, you know, it was cool because somebody approached me. Like I was already coaching many teams by that time, right? I coached a bunch of teams. I was actually coaching another team at the same time, right? Too many teams. And then at that time, like someone approached me, like, "Hey, we really want you to coach this, like, you know, the school with me, but we have a bunch of openings." And I'm like, "What?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, usually you just get one job, but I was like, "Okay, there's two openings." Like, I think there was a girl's job too, right? But the teacher had it, right? So I was like, "Okay, that's fine." And so then I call you, I call whoever was available. Like, hey, you guys want to do this? Like, you guys are young enough, you're excited. And I mean, that's cool. You never know, like that little position that you went in for a couple $100, you ended up like, okay, this is kind of cool. I think I could do this, you know, longer. You probably, you know, felt like you said, it's a lot different than playing. So you probably learned a lot, right? Like what did what do you think you learned so much like from coaching that's different than playing? Like, what do you think you've learned right now?
I think just preparation is depending on what you have with your team is what you have to adjust on. Okay, we have to play this style, or you know, we have a pretty strong defense. You
Right.
know, you just want to figure out what's best on your team, and you want to improve everyone on the team, especially at an age group that young with the sixth graders. Like most of the kids don't really have that much talent.